So socialist issues or socialistic issues, I wanted to go over some of them, especially some of the major ones, and sort of just to show that I at least have a rough understanding of it, and I'll debunk it also. But I want to talk about gun banishment, especially, excuse me, cat. um, but yeah, banning banning guns. It would reduce the mortality rate from things like homicide attempt, accidents, and things kind of like that. And I can see the utility at it. And if there was a way to do it that actually would work, I might be behind it. But there's always that problem where in an imperfect system, and in a world that doesn't quite work the way we'd like it to, all that banning guns is going to do is take guns away from law obeyers or non-criminals. So I just wanted to go into what might work for a gun ban, though, is complete control of gun manufacturers, including distribution chains, and of our borders, including imports and exports. And if you did that, you'd have you could probably eliminate most guns. You'd just have a few criminals getting guns. But then you have another problem of you'd want to make sure that your police and military, if your police are going to be allowed to use guns, but your military, they have to be uncorruptible. They can't have an ability or a desire to sell them for profit on the black market or anything else like that. So you kind of have to banish human nature if you really want to gun control to work. And that leads to another problem that democracy. I'm just dissing democracy here. There's nothing in democracy that is inherently intelligent. It wasn't too long ago, at least speaking in human history, that everyone thought the world was flat, and there were only a few nuts who thought it wasn't, and that was worth dying for. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that just because everyone wants something doesn't mean it even has the slightest resemblance of intelligence. So I want to say that, and that democracy, as we've seen, especially with Bush, that it doesn't protect the people. Obama's passing laws that you could say threaten civil liberties even more, but that's kind of here nor there. The damage has already been done, and it's just not being repealed, and democracy isn't helping with that. I also wanted to get into welfare, and I know that there are huge concerns about this, because there's that whole idea that that you could have some super rich people who have a whole bunch of stuff, and society gets so advanced that you need a bunch of money just to basically function in society, which I could go into explanations as to how the law is mainly to blame for that. I mean, if, like, let's say that you could get a certificate of different levels of English education. Like, you could have so much English so that you knew how to work in a factory. You could communicate within a factory work setting, and it would be pretty safe and pretty efficient, and you could get a certificate for that instead of having something like a general education diploma. That would save people a lot of time and money. So I could go on and on and on about zoning regulations, minimum wage, business regulation, all sorts of stuff. But I mainly wanted to debunk welfare as a solution to poverty by this example. Let's say there's someone named David who wants to go onto welfare. So he gets on welfare and he gets stuff for free For now, we'll say this stuff is money. But so he's gotten this money for zero work output, or he hasn't done anything, he hasn't taken a risk, he hasn't contributed to any person per se to get it. And so he uses this to acquire things, and in acquiring these things, someone has to work more. It's taken something for no work output that someone else will have to work more to fill. So there is at least a time cost, if not a commodity cost. And so the time has been taken. So someone will have to sacrifice their time, which will leave less, which will reduce someone else's life abundance, if you want to call it. And this will cause some sort of scarcity. If it's not in the market, you'll see it in social interactions or something else like that. So it creates a scarcity, and that'll increase the value or the price of what is available. And in increasing this price or value, there's less of whatever it is to give. So that creates more poverty. So welfare does create more poverty. And in an absolute welfare state, if it was 100%, let's say it's not work your way out of welfare state. It's just welfare. It's like you're not working and you need a hand, here you go. That would be 100% impoverishment also. It would literally be like cause the mass starvation of everyone, and which is why it'll never happen, because no one would deny the idiocy of it by then. But so that's one, and there are people who have more than others. But I just wanted to mention that the progressive tax system creates an environment where I could see why people who are wealthy might think that impoverished people are their enemy. I mean, if you've taken risks and built infrastructure and used your own time and money out of your life and successfully acquired without coercion, without putting a gun to anyone's head, a large amount of wealth, and then, someone comes along and pretty much says, I need that. I don't like how I'm living right now. I need more. I want minimum wage, especially minimum wage, I would have to say. I need more. I need to be able to have a car that goes 65 miles an hour down the road and guzzles a whole bunch of gas so that I can work, and never mind all the zoning laws and stuff like that keep me from living where I work. I just want more money. I want more. I mean, if someone did that to you, I mean, if I don't know how to put it, if you had the only bicycle on your block and your whole neighborhood got together and said, you have the only bicycle, this is the only bicycle here, we want a part of that, wouldn't you think that they're kind of your enemy? Especially if you acquired that bike yourself through voluntary means, and all they're doing is saying, well, it's 10 of us and one of you, give us the bike. How is that not how is that not an attack? So